Still ahead, a Chicago filmmaker goes back to Baghdad after 20 years.
Formalities, I have to say, are driving me a little nuts. There's absolutely no privacy here. Your business is everyone's business.
I'll talk to him about life in present-day Iraq.
Those meetings in his RV, I can't afford it.
Well, he's a Chicago-based filmmaker who returned to Iraq to reunite with his family after nearly 20 years.
Here's a clip from his new documentary, Nice Bombs.
I think if I stayed here another week, I might go a little insane. But I'm all right. I mean, I'm still having a good time.
Wow. Usama El-Shami joins us this morning. The movie has its world premiere tonight at the Music Box Theater. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow. So tell us what happened. Was it 20 years ago you left Iraq? You were 11 years old. Why did you leave and how did you get back in?
Well, we left. The Iran and Iraq war started, and Saddam's government, the Ba'ath government, was insisting that my father join their party, and life just became difficult, and we had to flee. And from that journey, it took me here, where I eventually got my political asylum, and I got my American citizenship. And I decided after the U.S. invasion that I had this opportunity with my father and my wife, who's from America. And I decided to take my camera and go back and interview my family that's still there and hear their voices and bring it back here.
And what did you learn?
Well, I learned it's a good question. It's a tough place, and I've been away for so long, and you know.
Well, there's this opinion that I have heard that said some people will say, at least under Saddam Hussein, we had running water, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Is that the predominant feeling there?
Well, the feeling is that the United States did one thing, and that was that they removed Saddam from office. But everything else since the occupation that they've messed up. And you know, when I was there 2 years ago, security, electricity, and all these issues were relevant, and they still are right now. Life under Saddam was horrible, and Iraqis are appreciative that he's removed him, but they haven't been given anything else. Mm-hmm. Everything's been a wreck. But it's not just about that. The movie's about what life is like in Baghdad and some of the culture and my own past and my relationship to it.
Usama, how were you received? How were Americans perceived there, and especially your wife, who is American-born, welcomed by Iraqi people?
Absolutely welcome. Everybody, Iraqis are warm and generous, and every time we meet people, they'd invite us in for dinner and tea. That wasn't really an issue. But you know, the insurgency was starting to rise up when we were there, and by the time we left, it had blown up. So I was worried about that, to take my wife there, because there had been so many kidnappings. And since then, I've tried to return, and my relatives have warned me that the situation is much worse and not to come back.
Let's take a look at another clip.
But the terrorism is out of their hands.
But they do keep track of it.
What do you say? Yeah.
Christy?
You don't see our war, how we live. I have, all the time.
Boom, 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 boom.
This is a bomb goes off while you're talking to your relatives. They barely react.
That's right. They're used to it. Iraqis are used to war, and this is what I'm showing in this movie, is that this is an unfortunate consequence.
This is really how you get the title of the film, right?
That's right. Nice bomb.
Was it a cousin of yours that said it was a bomb? It was a nice bomb.
Yeah,
it wasn't
he
a
was
bad
making
one.
a joke, and it's in the title. And you know, Iraqis lived through the Iran and Iraq War, the first Gulf War, 12 years of sanctions. And you know, they deserve better, you know? Yeah, they don't flinch because of the bombs.
Your executive producer on this is Studs Terkel.
Correct.
How did you get hooked up with Studs in this project?
Well, I was working at the Chicago History Museum, and I was assigned to transfer all his audio recordings. And from there, we developed a friendship, and he interviewed me for his book. And when I told him I had this idea of going back, he really encouraged me and pushed me to do it.
Didn't he write you a check on the spot? I heard.
Well, he did. Yeah, he did give
Yeah.
me some money to
Yeah,
get me started
that's cool.
because I needed it.
Well, it's an unbelievable project, and people can see it. It's the start of the Underground Film Fest, and you can see it tonight at 8 o'clock at the World Music Theater, excuse me, not the World Music Theater, the Music Box Theater.
Right.
That's an old theater down in Tinley Park in my old neighborhood. Anyway, Music Box Theater tonight at 8 o'clock, and Studs will be there to introduce it with you.
Studs will be there. Christy Hefner will be there. And my producer, Ben's Film Group, will be there.
All right.
Osama, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.